guys, in this session, we are going to discuss about the Harden A Linux system. Okay, so what is the Harden? Harden is nothing, just is enhancing the security. Enhancing the security means you are implement such type of the security which is going to be protect your Linux system from any type of the intrusion. If any type of the intrusion happened with your system, so it will be protected by using the some software, some configuration, and some type of the external software which is going to be protect your Linux operating system. The whole process known as a harden of a Linux system. So what are the possibilities we can use in a harden of the system? So first is a remove the unwanted software. And what are the unwanted software? Like you have some software pre-installed on your system, but this software is not required actually. So if this software does not exist or does not required in your system, so you will have to remove those software and the services. So how can you remove the software? We have already discussed about. You can use the you can use the DNF, and also in a Linux, in a Debian based Linux distro, you can use the APT for removing the unwanted software. And the services, which are the services are not useful, you can remove these services. And one more thing, when any application is launched, so there is a possibilities having some vulnerabilities, and then time to time the owner of the operating system or the organization releasing some patches and the update. Whenever you will update your operating system, the new version or the new type of the patch will be installed and it will enhance the security. Because if any vulnerability is discovered in a previously, that vulnerability will be patched in the next or the coming version of the operating system. So it is necessary you will have to update and upgrade operating system time to time. So upgrading the operating system in a Kali Linux operating system or the Debian based operating system, you can use the APT command, APT space. You will have to provide the command is a update, then you can ampersand sign, double ampersand sign, and then you can run the APT upgrade. So in the upgrade option, the only the utility or the software will be upgraded. The core system will not upgrade. So if you want to upgrade the core system, then you will have to use the APT and then use the dist and then upgrade, dist hyphen upgrade command. So this command is used for the updating and upgrading your system time to time. So in this case, your system will be updated, upgraded, and resolved all the type of the issues which encountered some previously, and allow the principle of the at least privilege. Least privilege means the only the minimum privilege. For the example, if you want to do the basic work over the system, then the normal user is good enough. Normal user is good enough. But if you want to do some privileged task like upgrading the system, installing the software, creating the partition, creating the user, or other type of the root privilege you required, then you will have a separate user account for the normal use and another user account for the administrative task. So if you are doing the normal task or the basic task on your computer, so you will use the least privilege, means minimum privilege, which will only the user can do their own jobs, normal jobs. Okay, if you want to do the normal job, so never use the root account. And another are some hardening steps which will be helpful to make your Linux operating system more secure. So what are these? Let's talk about. First is a integrate the strong physical security. What does it means by the physical security? There is two terms of the physical security. One is a physical security of the server, means nobody can go or reach to your computer. Another is physical security, means there is a port security and the physical accessibility of the system, protection from the system, physical accessibility. So what does it means? Like you have the some port, like the USB port, because the hacker or other person try to inject the malicious code by using the USB port, and USB port is a physical port, so you will have to protect this port. How can you protect? You can protect by the disabling this port. Disabling this port inside the BIOS setting, go inside the BIOS setting and disable all the USB ports. So in this case, nobody can boot your system from the another operating system or another bootable media. So USB all should be disabled. Not only this, because if you have the USB installed or you have disabled the USB, the hacker also get the access of the BIOS settings and he can change the USB state. If this is the disable, he can do it enable. So what you can do? You can use the USB protection, means you can enable the password for the BIOS protection. You can enable the password for the BIOS protection. So what does it mean? Does it means when someone try to access or get into the BIOS settings, he will have to put the correct password. If she don't know the correct password for the BIOS settings, so he cannot get into. So these are the physical security. Another type of the physical security, when the user will reach on your user account, where he will put the user account name and the password, so it will be the protected. Not only this, there is a GURB boot editor also should be password protected. So what are these things we will discuss later on, how you can enable all these things in the part of the cyber security. Another is a configure the system logging. System logging is one of the best option or the important feature inside any operating system. Why? Because when your computer will counter any type of the attack, any type of the issue, so it will log in a file. Later on you can access the log file and then you can check your log files and you can identify what was the problem actually. So this is very important. You will have to enable the log. Enabling the log may be the same system or maybe the using the syslog server. So syslog server as well as the individual server, all the logs will be stored. So later on it can be accessed and it can check for the debugging process and finding the solution if any issue was encountered. Another is a host-based firewall. In a previous session, we have discussed about the firewall. Firewall is going to be protect your computer from unwanted traffic or the network. Another is secure SSH connectivity. Because every time it is not a good option, you go on the Linux system or the server and just open the server and log in on the screen. Better option is sit somewhere else, not in a server room, because it may be the very cold or having the different temperature and maybe it is not good for the working environment. So in this case you can get the access of the terminal in another location and from that location you can manage your server. Okay, so enable the SSH a secure SSH. Secure SSH means there is a node root authentication and only the key authentication or something. And also is enforce the strong password. So first you should know about the strong password, because we have discussed multiple time. What is the strong password? Strong password nothing is the combination of the capital letters, small letters, symbols and the numeric keys. But keep in mind, all should not be in a sequence and should not be guessable and should not be exist in a dictionary. Okay. Another is remove the all the legacy means old version of the softwares, old manufacturing of the hardware. You should have to remove those, and remove the unneeded and insecure services. So what are the insecure services? Those services which services are communicating over the unsecure channel. So when it is communicating over the unsecure channel, so means all the data will not be encrypted and send it over the plain text. So any hacker, attacker or the sniffer can retrieve the username and password which is traveling inside the network. So it is compulsory, you will have to disable the unsecure services. So when the services will be disabled, so nobody can access those services and cannot see your password. So always use the SSH at the condition of the terminal and use the VPN and other softwares. Okay, and automate the updates. Update is a compulsory because it will remove all the types of the vulnerability which was encountered some time before from the operating system of the current version.